I had a dear friend of mine, and he went out on the golf course with his two sons. So I rode by my golf cart and I said, "Hey, Eddie, how's your day going?" He said, "Troy, I hate this game. I thought I could come in and make my drives and sink every putt, and I'm having a miserable day." And I looked at him and I said, "Eddie, you get to spend about 4 hours with your two sons having a beer, or maybe they were drinking a Pepsi. I don't know." And I said, "Sounds like a pretty good day." He goes, "Troy, this is the best day I've had in a long time." He was having a terrible game of golf, but he was having one of the days that he will remember for the rest of his life.
Welcome back to another episode of Bottled Up. I'm your host, Andrew Allen, and today we have an incredible guest who's turned a beautiful slice of Gautier, Mississippi into a thriving waterfront haven for golfers and nature lovers alike. Join me as we dive into an inspiring conversation with Troy Guillotte, the owner and PR/marketing director of the revitalized Hickory Hills Golf Course. Not only does Troy share his life and business, but he also opens up about his deep-seated passion for family, community, and the love of the game of golf. From unforgettable stories on the greens to insightful discussions on entrepreneurship. So grab yourself a Pepsi and let's tee it up with Mr. Troy Guillotte. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Troy. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks, Andrew, for having me.
Absolutely. So, Troy, I kind of want to get into your history of, we're going to get into Hickory Hills and all of the great things that you guys are doing over there with that course. But first, I kind of wanted to get into some of your history in the area. So where were you born and where did you grow up?
So, Andrew, I grew up around Gautier, Mississippi. Gautier has been my home, and it's kind of where I have, raised my family and where I was raised. And greater Jackson County is where I've lived my life.
That's great. So, Troy, growing up in Gautier in Jackson County, what kind of things were you interested in as a kid?
Well, growing up on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, my mother and father did an amazing job. We had a fantastic family, and they included us in as many things as they could. A couple of things that we absolutely loved was the outdoors and sports. I mean, that was our thing growing up. My father loved fishing and hunting, and every opportunity we were either in the boat casting a line, or we were in the woods hunting deer, squirrels, quail, rabbits, you name it, and we were after it. And those were some of my greatest memories growing up, was time with my family in the woods and in the boat and different things along those lines. Now, in addition to in the woods and the water, or the hook and bullet, we absolutely loved sports growing up in my family. And growing up in small town Mississippi, we didn't have access always to things like soccer and lacrosse, and so not much tennis and not much golf. But, when it came to baseball, football, and basketball, we were on the court or on the field every chance that we got. I was fortunate in that those are the things that my father loved to do. He always coached me and my little brother, and we absolutely loved growing up in the ball diamond and on the basketball court and the football field.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty traditional Southern upbringing, especially where we live, and having the blessing of having the woods and the water so close to one another. I would imagine that there was a lot of memories and magical times growing up as a kid, learning how to do all that stuff from your dad, and y'all sharing common interests like that.
Yeah, something, I wouldn't trade those things for the world. We were raised in a very blue collar family, but we led a very rich life. We got a chance to spend a lot of time together, and it's not always how much money you have in the account. Sometimes it's how much time you get to spend together as a family.
Yeah, and I think the funny thing is when you kind of read about people who have all the money in the world, the number one thing that they focus on is their time, right?
Yeah, I'm finding that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's people, when people get the money, they look at, all right, well, what am I going to spend my time doing? Because my time is the one. It's like my mom used to say, the number one thing that you can give somebody and the gift you can give somebody is your time, because it is a resource that cannot be reproduced.
Wow, that's pretty heavy. I like that. That's a great saying. Your mother is a wise lady.
Yes. So that's kind of one of the things that I always like to talk about whenever we have our Christmas party every year, and I thank all the employees for the work that we've done. And I tell them that, listen, time is the most important resource on the planet because it's finite. Once you use it, it's done. And I have a lot of people dedicating a lot of time to try to make this company successful, and I appreciate all the hours that they put in to try to work together to try to make this place great. So, it's really that's the most important thing, and I totally agree with you that family and spending time with your family is, in my opinion, the most important thing you can do.
Absolutely.
Well, Troy, so when you grew up, what was one of the first jobs you had, and where did you go to school, and what were you interested in whenever you decided to kind of get out in the world and start and trying to make a name for yourself in the workforce?
So, growing up around, South Mississippi, my first job ever was at Tuesey's fishing camp in Gautier, Mississippi.
Yep.
I was the guy that ran around the fishing camp, and I would do everything from cut grass to tie up boats to help people fill the boats up with fuel. I was the guy that would always count the shrimp. You'd come in and buy bull minnows or shrimp, and I got really, really good at counting out 100 shrimp. Now, truth be told, so if Charlie Green is listening, when somebody would come in for 100 shrimp, they might have got 115 or 120 shrimps, because I believe in making people, get more than what they pay for. I think they call that in Louisiana lagniappe.
Absolutely.
So that was my first job. I absolutely loved it. Growing up as a 13-year-old kid, tying up boats and pumping gas at a fishing camp was a dream job, and you got the fishing report. I got all the little jokes. Where are they catching the fish at this morning? And I always would say in the mouth. And it was a good time growing up in that environment.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I got a chance to attend Pascagoula High School. I went on to attend the University of Southern Mississippi, where I developed lifelong friends. I got out of that job and went to work. And realistically, in my early career, when I was, 21, 22, 23 years old, I was trying to find my way and trying to find what I wanted to do in life. The degree that you get doesn't always apply to what you pursue in life and what gives you joy and happiness. So that's one of the things I had to do. And I've had several careers, but they always involve some sort of sales and public relations. And that's what I gravitated towards as a young man. And even in my 20s and 30s, that was what I gravitated towards. And that's what I enjoyed doing.
So, Troy, I've met you a couple times, and people are what makes you happy.
Yeah. Now, sometimes it can also be the bane of my existence and the source of my frustration also. But, I tell people that they give me a lot more smiles than tears.
Absolutely. And that kind of fuels your engine, is getting to deal with people. And you do have a knack, I would like to say, of dealing and kind of having a personal touch when it comes to dealing with folks. We try to do the same thing here.
Something I have to tell you, and this will give me a great opportunity to tell you guys that, you got that right, Andrew. The people that we meet and deal with through Allen Beverages just do a great job, and they're warm and they're friendly and they have smiles on their faces. We had a young man that's part of your team come in our pro shop the other day, Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
I never met him, but he had this bright blue jacket on and came up and shook my hand. And he's like, I'm here to drop in and say hello and see how everything's going and see if we could do anything to help you guys. And, everybody that we have met with Allen Beverages has been positive, and there's a similar kind of philosophy for doing life with what we're trying to create and what you guys are trying to create. And I think it makes a great partnership.
I appreciate that, Troy. Yeah. And the family aspect is what we try to focus on over here. Is, a lot of people say, "Oh, we're family owned," but they don't act like they're family owned. We tend to, it kind of runs, that main vein runs through about everything that we do here, is to try to make sure that our customers feel like we're taking care of them, that we're going to go above and beyond and partner with them and promote their business, and doing stuff like we're doing right here. Our job is to take care of y'all and make y'all feel like, we're partnering with you, not just selling you stuff.
Well, and hey, listen, you just hit the nail on the head, and allow me to wax your car a little bit. Um, you know, uh, just like the first time that you and I met each other, we met with Miss Morgan, and
Yep.
I have to tell you, she is an amazing ambassador for Allen Beverages. She is always so pleasant, it's always so helpful. We don't get to see her enough, but every time we see her, she's so helpful. I have a question from time to time. Hey, Miss Morgan, I'm thinking about doing this energy drink at the bar. What do you think? And she's like, Hey, Troy, let me get you a recipe. And she always gives me suggestions, advice, guidance. Hey, listen, this is what another place is doing. Maybe you want to try this, and that type of thing. And she is an indication of all of the team that you've got working for you.
Right.
So, it would be nice for y'all just to fill us up with sodas and energy drinks and the Gatorades and what have you that we buy from you guys on a regular basis. But the things that you guys like, the lanyap we talked about earlier, you guys believe in lanyap. Now I don't know if you identified as that, but yes, we buy our sodas from you guys, our fountain drinks in our restaurants, and our Gatorades, and our Starbucks, and our Pepsis, and our Mountain Dews, and all of those products we buy from you guys.
Right.
But you guys always bring that extra touch that we don't get from all of our vendors. And I have to tell you that all of the people that we do business with, Allen tends to be a little bit more of a partnership. You guys have done a commercial with us at no cost, and went out and done some promotions with us when we were celebrating your anniversaries and different things along those lines.
Yeah, Troy, I totally I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate the kind words, man. And it's what you're talking about right now is it's intentional. We make sure that when our customer calls, it's not just another customer call, whether it's the largest or smallest, we kind of we don't weigh you by, hey, well, how much volume is this account doing? Or, how big of a customer are they? It's, hey, listen, a customer of ours is needs help and is asking for something, and we're going to do the most we can to try to make it happen. I have a couple of questions, Troy, about before we get into Hickory Hills and how that kind of came about. So, what were some of the other businesses that you worked with or that you built yourself before you got into dealing with the golf course over in Gautier?
Well, I have to tell you, I have a dream job where I make a living. I'm a television producer, and I produce a national television show called Trigger Time TV. From an early age, in my experience in the hunting and outdoors, I always had an affinity for firearms, whether it was a hunting rifle, a 22 rifle, a shotgun, or what have you. And I produce a television show with some of the coolest people on earth. I've produced a television show that includes Green Berets, Navy SEALs, Special Operation Marine Corps guys, people from other countries that talk and teach my viewers about firearms. And that's what I do for a living, and that's what pays the bills.
That's awesome, Troy. I know that a lot of times guys who get out of the special operations group, especially, they have a hard time integrating back into society because what they do is highly specialized. So one of the things that they try to do is they try to teach what they know, and what they know is how to operate in environments with firearms and tactics better than anybody else in the world. So I do know that a lot of these guys go back to where their comfort zone is, and that is tactics, firearm training, safety, personal defense, that kind of thing. So that's really, really cool, Troy.
Yeah, something. A wise man once said, find something that you love, make your career out of it. Never a day will you work, or something along those lines. I probably have the verbiage on that quote wrong, but you get the idea. Well, when you love something, you want to work at it hard, and you do put in your heart and soul. And I have to tell you that the worst day of work with my television show puts a heck of a cool smile on my face.
Yeah, I know that. I know exactly. I don't think I've worked a day in my life, to be honest with you. I mean, I started in this business when I was 12. So I mean, I've had some rough days, but the people I get to work with make it. And the guys that I got to run routes with and merchandise and grocery stores with, they were the ones that kind of lifted me up when we're having bad days and you're working hard and, you're dealing with managers that are having issues. And, there's a lot of different personalities you're trying to make happy. But I think that, having the experience of the guys that I work with and my middle management and my supervisors, that's what makes my life easier when it comes to working here.
Yeah, my heroes have become my friends. I've gotten a chance to have, 3 guys from SEAL Team 6 on my television show. I've had 6 guys from Delta on my show, and lots of great Green Berets and Special Operations Marines and what have you. And it's the thrill of my lifetime to surround myself and to do business with these giants among men and women.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I totally get it. That I'm interested in all that stuff as well. As far as the unit and Green Berets and I think that's really, really cool that you're able to kind of take your interests and what gives you joy and then turn it into an opportunity to work in your business. That's fantastic, Troy. So other than your show, how did you get into Hickory Hills? I know that Hickory Hills has been around for a long time. So how long has Hickory Hills been a golf course on the Mississippi Gulf Coast?
Well, if you've played golf on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, you probably have a fond memory of golf at Hickory Hills. Our area is rich in the golf tradition. The golf course from our research was originally created in 1964. It is an Earl Stone design, and back in the 60s, he came to Gautier, Mississippi, and a group of businessmen said, hey, we want to build this community, they want to build this neighborhood, and we want this great golf course right in the center of it. And over the years, our golf course has had different owners and went through different incarnations. And it's been a staple of golf on the Mississippi Gulf Coast since the mid 60s. And, golf has seen its fair share of ups and downs.
Yes.
It has seen its highs and lows. Of all things, golf had started to get in one of the valleys, where its popularity had waned just a little bit. And along came COVID.
Absolutely.
And people were going stir crazy inside with their family that absolutely loved, but didn't want to spend 24 hours a day with them every day, all day. So they said, hey, golf, you could play golf and be away from people, give people lots and lots of room. And from that point forward, golf is a huge resurgency. We've got the Live Golf that hugely became popular a couple years ago.
Yep.
Superstars like Tiger Woods and John Daly, and I'm a John Daly fan, and other great athletes have largely contributed to golf's resurgence in the last many years. We're seeing a lot of children picking up the sport, where for a while that was not the case. Of all things, we're seeing lots and lots of female athletes getting into the sport of golf. And that's a huge thing that we are to foster and contribute as much as we can, is the introduction of our female athletes in the world of golf.
Absolutely. I remember when I was a kid, I think when I was a kid was around when I used to do, it was Trademark Golf Course. I used to do the summer golf camps for 2 weeks. It was Applewhite, I think it was Miss Applewhite over there. We used to play the first 9 every day for 2 weeks. And then I was on the GHS golf team, and Coach Howard McNeil was my coach. And, a lot of the reasons why my dad was a big golfer. He got really, really good. He spent a lot of time playing when I was a kid, much to my mom's chagrin. But, I remember being a kid one time, like this is pre-cell phone. So you couldn't find him, and my mom had to find him. So she drove to the course and got a golf cart and went to the holes to find him. I remember riding in the golf cart to try to find my dad. And imagine like being a grown man, and like you look over and you're trying to have, it's man time, right? This is time where you and your buds are going out, and then you see your wife and kids in a golf cart. Like that'd be like
we're here, honey.
Yeah. Worst case scenario right there.
Yeah.
But that's basically, I grew up playing. That was one of the first sports that I really learned how to play. I don't play as much as I used to. I have small kids. So I play about once or twice a year. But if I dedicated some time to the game, that I could pretty much, I could get pretty good if I wanted to. But you have to dedicate time to it, because this isn't something that you can just be kind of good at and then and succeed in it. This takes time. So
It's funny you told that story about your father. This was last summer. I had a dear friend of mine that I kind of grew up with, and he went out on the golf course with his two adult sons. I call them adults. They were 19 years old and 23 years old. I guess we'd call them adult sons. And
college.
And I went out there and college aged young men. And they were out on the golf course, and I rode by my golf cart. And I said, "Hey, Eddie, how's your day going?" He said, "Troy, I hate this game." He said, "Man, I thought I could come in and make my drives and sink every putt, and my long irons and short irons were going to be on and different stuff like that." And he said, "Man, I'm having a miserable day." And I looked at him and I said, "Eddie, you get to spend about 4 hours with your two sons, which are already kind of starting their careers and families of their own,
right,
on a beautiful day, having a beer, or maybe they were drinking a Pepsi. I don't know." And I said, "Sounds like a pretty good day." He goes, "Troy, this is the best day I've had in a long time."
Absolutely.
While he couldn't beat the game of golf, it was about the time he got to spend with his buddies or his sons, talking about life and talking about children and talking about careers and talking about, I don't know, God and different things along those lines.
Yeah, you are kind of out there. Yeah.
He was having a terrible game of golf, but he was having one of the days that he will remember for the rest of his life.
That's right. That's right. And that's what you guys provide over there at Hickory Hills, man. So let me ask you this, Troy. When did you come on? Because I know that Hickory Hills kind of sat dormant for a little bit. When did you come on? And when did y'all start, making the resurgence of it coming back?
Yes, absolutely. So my family and I moved on to fairway number 8 in Hickory Hills. And we were going to have a child. And this was 12 years ago. And my wife and I talked about it. And we said, where do we want to live? And either we were going to be on the water or we were going to be on the golf course. And I said, well, there's going to be danger having an infant on the water. I said, listen, let's choose the golf course. We chose the golf course. We enjoyed living on the golf course for many, many, many years. And then the rumors started that, hey, listen, I think the owners are going to shut down the golf course and sell the property off. And sure enough, that happened. And my wife came home from work one day and she saw me kind of emotional and down and just having a bad day. And she said, what's wrong, Troy? And I said, well, they locked the doors on the golf course today. They came in with a big 18-wheeler truck and 3 or 4 trucks and took all the golf carts out and cleaned out the pro shop, and the restaurant's closed and the bar's closed, and I don't know what we're going to do. I'm really upset about it. And she said, well, why don't you get off your butt and do something about it?
That's right, man.
And I kind of got up and I shed it. I wiped the tear away that was in my eye. And I said, something, I think I can do something here. And I had spoken to a buddy of mine, a lifelong friend of mine from about 7th grade, a fellow by the name of John Peters. And Johnny said, Troy, somebody told me the golf course closed. I said, yeah, it did. And I'm pretty upset about it. And I'm wanting to do something about it. He said, let's buy it. And, Johnny is much more sophisticated when it comes to finance and structuring loans and investors and different things along those lines. And I'm the guy that gets everybody excited and is good at telling the story.
Absolutely.
We make a fantastic partnership. And he said, man, let's do it. The land is there. The waterfront property is there. The clubhouse is there. He said, it's going to take some dreams and some hard work, and we can bring this great golf course back to life. And there were some times when we didn't think we were going to be able to do it, and we got no after no after no after no. What we should have done is come and seen you, Andrew. But we got no after people that we thought would make great investors and great partners. And then all of a sudden we had family members that came to us and said, hey, Troy, we want to share this dream with you. We want to go along for the ride. And my brother was one of them, my mother, my stepfather, Johnny's cousin, and one other business person from our community said, let's do it. And we put the money together, and literally we closed on the purchase of Hickory Hills Golf Course the last day of our written contract. And they had all kinds of groups and investors lined up that were gonna put neighborhoods up and different things along those lines, and we're gonna mow down that green, and that's where my house is gonna go, and this is where the teeter totter is gonna be, and this is where the dumpsters are gonna be. Well, what we didn't realize and what we found out is that this is a phenomenon that's going on all over the United States. Okay, it's not unique to South Mississippi. We've lost several great golf courses in the last couple years. Great Southern, St. Andrews, the list goes on Pine Island, and so on and so forth. And what we realized is that to a lot of these people that don't love the place and don't have the emotional attachment to it, is that the land is more valuable than the business of golf. They can make more money off of the land if they build houses than renting golf carts and tee times and things along those lines, and selling hot dogs and Fireball and Pepsi.
Yeah.
And we're doing everything that we can to bring that great golf course back to life, and we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Well, hey Troy, what year was this that you guys secured this? How long ago was that?
That was July 11th, 2021.
Okay. All right. So we're coming up on the three-year anniversary.
Yep. We are coming up on the third year. It's been hard. It's been like we talked about earlier. It's been a battle and a struggle, and we've had highs and we had lows, and we've had people that work for us and people that have played golf with us and been great members of us that have passed away. And my brother was part of this dream. My brother lost his battle with cancer.
I'm sorry
in September. And next month we're planting an oak tree that's going to have all of his information on it, and we hope that that's there for the rest of our lives.
Absolutely, I think that'd be a good dedication, man. I'm sorry to hear about your brother, Troy. I think that a family coming in like you described, and everybody betting on you and your friend Johnny is that's a fantastic story, because it shows that not only do they want to have a part of this dream, but they also believe in you. And, I think that's the kind of stuff that, gets me going when I think about it, is because, that's kind of what America is all about, is, families getting together and then betting on themselves and living the dreams that they want to live. I think that encapsulates kind of what the American dream is that being able to have a dream, get together enough family members and capital to make something happen, and then just trying to fight to make that dream a reality.
There's something to be said about chasing your dreams, So I want to challenge you to something, Andrew. I would like to invite Allen Beverages for one day in the future to come over and have a day of golf on us. Invite some of your key team members, maybe some of your truck drivers, maybe some of your administration staff, maybe it's some of the people that work in your warehouse and drive a forklift for a living. Maybe they've never gotten a chance to play golf, or they see it on TV and they always wanted to live their Tiger Woods dreams. Maybe you've got the lady that handles your, accounts receivable, and her father played golf and her husband plays golf, and she's never had a lesson. I would love to have an Allen Beverage day of golf at Hickory Hills Country Club in the near future. I want to make that happen.
That sounds fantastic, Troy. But what I'm going to tell you, man, is I have some guys, my supervisors and CFO and all, they play every weekend, man. So,
they're ringers, huh?
Yeah, no, I mean, they're not. I wouldn't necessarily refer to them as ringers. I think that they have an addiction problem, and
we love those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're talking right there. You're talking their language, man. We used to do a supervisor tournament where we would take the supervisors and you'd split them evenly in half, and then we would do. I think it was like 2 or 3 4-man teams apiece. And we would do that. So yes, absolutely. I'm going to accept your challenge, and we need to make that happen. and we need to make that. And that will not be hard to execute on my end. All I have to have is a date, and I put it out into the world, and everybody's going to be there.
Awesome. Challenge accepted. we can make that happen. One of the things that we do a lot of, Andrew, that I would love to invite some of your team, the guys that are hardcore golfers, is our night golf tournaments. That's something that we love doing. We play golf at night. We have special golf balls that glow with a LED light inside of it. We light the golf course up in very specific areas, and our members really, really enjoy that. And if we can ever extend an invitation to some of your key team that services us so well, we'd love to do that.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, your man Jesus that you met, he plays. He's one of those guys. So
he's already let me know, and I'm excited to get Jesus out on the course and enjoy some golf at Hickory Hills.
So Troy, let's talk a little bit about Hickory Hills, because I don't want to. You've given us so much time. I want to kind of explain to everybody where you're located, what all events that you have coming up, what your amenities are. Talk a little bit about the bar. Let's talk about your food that you guys have. Because it's all top notch of it. It's all top notch. So explain to everybody where Hickory Hills is located and how someone could book around there if they wanted to book around.
We are located in Gautier, Mississippi. We're located north of the interstate in the neighborhood of Hickory Hills. And we have 226 acres of beautiful waterfront property. So we're located on the scenic Pascagoula River. We have an 18-hole championship golf course, originally designed by Earl Stone. We're a long golf course and we're wide. So if your game is left and right, come check us out for a round of golf. To check us out, you can call our pro shop. The number is very easy to remember. It's 228-331-GOLF, GOLF. Okay.
You're lucky to get that.
You can always book. Yeah, we got lucky on that one. Somebody missed that one. You can always go on our website to take a look at our golf opportunities at www.hhccr.com, hhccr.com. That stands for Hickory Hills Country Club and Resort. We have a beautiful restaurant and bar. We love our association with Pepsi products in our bar and restaurant, and all of the associated services that we get from Allen Beverages. We have the ability for special events at our venue. You can get married on our grounds out over the beautiful Pascagoula River. And we have one of the finest views in South Mississippi. I'm sure people have nice views in other places on the beach and what have you. So if you ever had interest in a waterfront outdoor wedding, we have a great venue for that. We do a lot of live music. We do a lot of company events. We have now condominiums for rent, both long-term and short-term rental on our property. So if you've ever had any interest in living on the golf course, you have the ability to do that now. Just give us a phone call at 228-331-GOLF, and we can provide you with as much information there as possible.
Hey Troy, I was looking at your website, and those villas that you guys have, the lodgings, they're nice, man. They're really, really nice.
Yeah. Well, we just recently bought those back in November, and we've been very proud. We've been kind of overwhelmed with people that are coming in from all over the country, really.
Yeah.
That want to stay in those condos. And it's just another amenity that we want to add, and another bullet in our gun to offer to the people that come out and enjoy Hickory Hills Country Club.
Well, I think that what you guys are doing over there is incredible. I think that y'all definitely have made all the right calls and investments to make that property something to be proud of. And, I can't thank you enough, Troy, for the relationship that you guys have had with us and, the loyalty that you guys have had with us. It means a lot to me and my family, and if there's ever anything I can do, for y'all in the future, I'm all ears. You have my contact info. If you need, I'm gonna send you my number right after this recording.
Listen, I want to tell a quick story, 2-minute story about our relationship with Allen Beverages. So when we were getting set up and before we opened to the public, we called up Morgan and said, Miss Morgan, we need a couple coolers. Well, Troy, yes, no problem. We're going to take care of you as part of this agreement, this new relationship. So your team came in and he goes, hey, Troy, why did you tell him to put the cooler there and the cooler there? I said, well, I thought that was a good location for it. He said, man, I think over there and over there would be better locations. I said, man, it took those guys, 20 minutes to move that cooler from over here to over there. That sucker's heavy. He said, yeah, well, call Miss Morgan and see if Allen Beverages will come out and move that cooler for you. And she said, sure, Troy, I'll have them right out. So they came out and they moved the coolers for the second time in our pro shop. And then Johnny's wife came in and said, why did y'all put it there? I want them one over there and one over there. And she's like, I'll call Morgan. I think Morgan will probably do this for us, but who knows? I said, they're not going to want to do that, Allen. Allen Beverages has more important things to do. And sure enough, Terry called Morgan and she said, Terry will have our team right out there. And sure enough, they moved them a third time for us. Now, I know you guys hate doing that, but that is an indication of the level of service that we've provided. We love the products that you guys provide. I love your Starbucks is my favorite. We love the Gatorade products, the Pepsi products, and so on and so forth. But what you guys do better than anybody else is your service. And that's the part you guys have nailed 100%.
Yeah, Troy, I appreciate that. And that's one of the things that I always tell the people who work here is that, there's some things that are out of our realm of control. But the one thing that we can control is how hard we service and take care of the customer. And, that's kind of the mantra here is that customer first, take care of the customer, because nobody's doing you any favors except your customers. And the loyalty that you guys have shown us is really, I appreciate it a lot, Troy. So, like I said before, this isn't lip service. If there's anything that you guys need, or if you have a special event or something coming up, and you need an ice barrel or two or something like that, you just let us know. Okay.
Sure. Absolutely. Andrew, thanks for all the help that you guys have given us. Our relationship with you guys have been one of the reasons why we've been successful to this point.
Well, I appreciate that. And if anybody wants to go have a fantastic round of golf, you need to look up Hickory Hills Golf Course over in Gautier, Mississippi. You won't regret it. I guarantee it. So, Troy, thanks so much for your time today, man. I really appreciate you telling us the story and kind of giving us some insight into who you are and what it is you do over there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks, Andrew, and have a great day.
You too, Troy. Thank you. And that wraps up another episode of Bottled Up. A huge thank you to Troy Guillotte for sharing his incredible journey in reviving the scenic Hickory Hills Golf Course and his personal and professional adventures. It's stories like these that remind us of the power of passion, dedication, and the impact of strong partnerships in our business community. Whether you're a golf enthusiast or just someone who loves a good comeback story, we hope this episode has inspired you to tee up your dreams and swing for the green. A big thank you to all of you, our listeners, for tuning in. At Bottled Up, we're all about uncorking the stories that shape our coastal home. And remember to always support our local businesses, restaurants, and attractions. Cheers. Thanks for listening to the Bottled Up podcast. Want us to deliver this show to your email inbox as they drop? Want to tell us about how you like the show? Or do you want to tell us about a Gulf Coast business or restaurant that you'd like for us to spotlight in any upcoming episodes? Email Morgan Wheeler at mwheeler, MWHEELER at abevinc.com. That's ABEVINC.com. Want to know more about Allen Beverages and how we work with our clients, partners, and vendors? Check out allenbeverages.com. This show was edited and produced by Johnny Gwynn and Deep Fried Studios.